They're still playing. We're talking about wonder kids. We touched on it ever so briefly before about Charlie Patino. This is a player that, as you quite rightly said, my earpiece is so not working, that Jack Wilshere mentioned to us in the studio, one player to look out for in the future. What is it about these young kids coming through? Do you think you can spot them straight away? I've got a list of some of these young kids when they sort of broke through onto the scene. All of a sudden you look at them, you go, oh, wow, he's a little bit special. A bit like when Jack said it about Charlie. What is it you see in these certain kids, the wonder kids, that you don't see in other players, do you think?
They just look like they're like 2 steps forward, like they're ahead of everybody else. Listen, Wayne Rooney's on this list. And I remember going to La Manga, like a training camp with England. So I would have been 16, he would have been 15, and he was head and shoulders above everybody in terms of his pace, his power, his vision, his technique. Because obviously with young kids, there's always that, when you pass them the ball control, can they get out of tight situations, their impact on the game, their impact on training. And he had the absolute Wayne Rooney. So when you saw the goal against Arsenal for Everton, like I'd seen
the famous remember the name.
I'd seen that from before when we under 15s England, because he was unstoppable, and obviously it went on and went on. And I think he doesn't get the rub of the green in terms of respect, Rooney, because he did it from such a young age at such a high level. Because he broke in at 16. He went to Manchester United at 17, was it? Was in the England squad at 17. People almost forget about how good he actually was when he was an absolute kid. So it's like people talk about Phil Foden right now, how good he was as a kid. They automatically go straight back to reminds me of Gaza. But then people forget about Rooney in between that. Rooney was exceptional. But yeah, some of these youngsters, you just look at them and go, ooh, they've got a little bit of something different now. A little bit like with Jack, when Jack burst on the scene for Arsenal. Yeah. I remember thinking, whoa.
He was saying last week he was 16, wasn't he?
16. I remember watching him thinking, wow.
But you said you were 16 or 17 when you made your debut?
Yeah, but there's a bit of a big difference between Ipswich Town and Arsenal.
I know, but it's still, you're talking about a teenager. Who was it that had a 15-year-old on the bench this week?
Leeds.
It was Leeds,
yeah.
Was it? I mean, you've got to be... I don't know if the 15-year-old in question is going to go on to bigger and better things, if he's going to be an absolute superstar, but you still have to have an abundance of talent to be a teenager, a 15-year-old, and sat on the bench for the senior team. That's incredible.
But I was at Derby, and there was one at Derby called Mason Bennett, youngest ever player to play for Derby. I think he's 15. He made his debut for Derby. Injuries killed him. He didn't really got himself in a little bit of trouble as well.
Is that too young then, do you think?
Not too young, but he was the only one I've seen with the same build as Rooney. So, because I think when you're a youngster coming through, technically you can be very good, but you know it's like playing under 23s football, youngsters football. It's not really no tackling now. It's more intercepting. It doesn't really grow you up. You don't become a man playing in the 23s or the young youth levels. So I think when you look at the likes of Foden, technically superb. The way to get the ball, control the ball, get out of tight situations, as I've said. I think when you add the physicality to it as well, because you've got to be able to handle yourself as well. That's why, for me, Rooney's the best one I think I've ever seen, because he was like a full-on bulldozer when I seen him.
And when you get these young kids coming through, there's got to be a certain amount of protection. I know Sir Alex was unbelievable doing this. You'd never see Ryan Giggs as a teenager or even young 20s being thrust in front of the cameras to do an interview after the game had finished. We talked about Charlie Patino. We're talking about players a bit later on, actually, like Jack Grealish. I know he's mid-20s, but Phil Foden as well, a young kid. How important is it that when these players coming through, you protect them, not just from the media, but protect them from doing what kids of their age should normally be doing anyway?
Even more so now, because of the whole social media aspect. Because when I was coming through, there was no social media, was there? So, it was almost a time where back then managers would just say, right, it's not really up to me to get you ready for the first team. And George Burley's motto was always, if you're good enough, you're old enough. Doesn't care how old you are, you've got to look after yourself. And that was the case of, I remember playing Jermaine Genius at Forest, wonder kid, Jermaine Pennant at Arsenal. I think he was one of the most expensive teenagers at one point.
He was.
But we were in a time where, because there was no social media, they didn't really look after you. Away you go. If you do well in the first game, you stay on the team like it should be. But with social media now, and it almost feels like a lot of people are out there trying to catch you out, like being somewhere you shouldn't, or even trying to make something out of. It could be anything. Do you know what I mean? Like they might go. A professional footballer might go to the shop and have a can of Coke in their hand. Someone tries to get that picture, puts it out there. Look at this kid's. Do you know what I mean? Diet. So you've got to be so careful. So I think the fact that clubs nowadays protect some of these youngsters is so important, because there are a lot of people out there, not everybody, because there are some quality people out there, but there are people out there that are looking to, do you know what I mean, try and cause a little bit of upset.
Okay. Let's go to the phone line, shall we? Earlier on, we're talking about all things Arsenal. We can continue that theme. 03717 22 Hamza's an Arsenal fan. George is now. Hamza, hello.
You all right, guys? Great show as always. I just had a little word about Nketiah and Patino. So I just wanted to say, there's a lot of sentiment with Nketiah, because I kind of saw his debut. I think it was a Carabao Cup game where he was 17 and scored 2 goals. So obviously I want him to do great, but I think I really don't understand where this misconception comes from that he's a poacher, because I was looking at his statistics last night and he's got 15, well until last night, it was 15 goals in 70 games, and I'm pretty sure 6 or 7 of them are actually in the League Cup. So now when you look at that, is that really something that's sort of like a poacher? Because I just don't think he's doing the numbers of a poacher.
But you know what, you have, listen, Hamza, you have got to take into consideration as well that he doesn't play week in, week out, so he's never really been able to get any kind of rhythm going on. You look when he plays consistently for the under-21s, he's broke all records. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he is a natural goal scorer, but it's difficult because he has for Arsenal, he has turned into like a cup striker, hasn't he? Like I know he's had a couple of opportunities in the league, but I think if he was playing week in, week out, maybe not Arsenal because the expectation is so high. If he was, say, a Brighton, who I said earlier, playing absolutely every single week, I think you start to see his numbers and gradually grow. Because you know what I mean? When you're kind of judging him over a sustained amount of time, where I don't even think he might have played 5 Premier League games back to back. Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit difficult to kind of judge him on his numbers when he doesn't really play consistently.
Yeah, no, I completely get what you're saying. I guess I'm just kind of sort of comparing it with the likes of Saka and Smith Rowe when they did get their chance. They kind of really took it with both hands. But I do get your point. I think he's 22 now, and he's still not sort of putting up those numbers.
Hamza, let me ask you, for the under-21s at national level or international level for England, he's the top scorer of all time, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got to be pretty good at scoring goals, isn't he?
But yeah, true. But then also it's the fact that how many players, let's talk at Arsenal alone, that sort of the under-21 strikers, you had Benik Afobe, you had Chuba Akpom, they were prolific at youth levels, but they just couldn't make the step to senior football. I'm not saying that's definitely him, but I just really think at Arsenal, I just don't think he is the answer. I really see his career maybe sort of bottom Premier League or Championship. Not to be critical, but as of yet, that's kind of all I've seen from him. And I can't,
So the one thing I said about Hamza where he makes quite a good point was that he did go to Leeds, didn't he? And it didn't work for him. He couldn't oust Bamford. People took him to Leeds and thought, right, he'll get in front of Bamford, and he ended up going back, didn't he? Because he didn't get an opportunity because Bamford kept him out of the team. But I like Nketiah. I don't think he's the answer for Arsenal, but bottom level Premier League. There's teams out there that are crying out for goal scorers.
Yeah.
Look at Norwich. I know they've got Pookie, but his numbers haven't been
Newcastle,
great.
they don't need him.
No, I think with what they've got going on, they're going to be looking
It's elsewhere on the pitch.
Brighton just, for me, just look like it fits.